Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is 6:30 p.m. I will call the Tuesday, January 7th meeting of the Superior Common Council to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councillor Olson. Here. Councillor Van Sickle. Councillor Bender. Here. Councillor Sweeney. Here. Councillor Fennessy. Here. Councillor Elm. Here. Councillor Ludwig. Here. Councillor Sutherland. Here. Councillor Kern. Here. And Councillor Dahlbeck. Here.
We have a quorum.
The first item is number 4, approval of the minutes from the December 17th meeting.
The motion is by Councillor Dahlbeck, second by Councillor Bender. Is there discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. Motion carries.
Item 6 is the consent agenda.
The motion is by Councillor Fennessy, second by Councillor Elm. Is there discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. Motion carries.
7.1 is the Human Resources Committee from their December 16th meeting.
Motion to approve. Second.
The motion is by Councillor Elm, second by Councillor Bender. Councillor Sutherland.
I would like to request that we remove items 7.1 B and C and refer them back to committee.
We have a motion to refer items B and C back to the Human Resources Committee.
Yes.
Is there a second?
Which one?
Item 7.1, 3,
3.
B,
Okay.
and C.
I'm sorry, 3 B and C, yeah.
Sorry, was there a second? The second is by Councillor Sweeney. Is there discussion on the motion to refer? Councillor Van Sickle. Could you put your light back on?
Sorry, what is the language on these two recommendations that need to be sent back? What are they regarding?
B is to approve the revised substance abuse drug-free workplace policy, and C is to approve the revised drug and alcohol testing policy.
Okay, thanks.
Further discussion on the motion to refer? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. Motion carries.
7.2 is the Plan Commission recommendations from their December 18th meeting.
Motion is by Councillor Dahlbeck, second by Councillor Fennessy. Is there discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. Motion carries.
Item 8.1, I am recommending approval of miscellaneous licenses.
Motion is by Councillor Bender, second by Councillor Dahlbeck. Is there discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. Motion carries.
8.2, Planning Director Cirque is recommending approval of the amendments to the Small Business Grant Program description.
The motion is by Councillor Olson, the second by Councillor Dahlbeck. Is there discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. Motion carries.
Public Works Director Janico is recommending approval of the renewal for professional engineering services agreement with TKDA as needed or emergency services.
Motion is by Councillor Bender, the second by Councillor Fennessy. Is there discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. Motion carries.
Director Janico is also recommending approval of the landfill consultant contract with SEH 2020 for an amount not to exceed $55,000.
The motion is by Councillor Kern, the second by Councillor Bender. Is there discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. Motion carries.
Item 8.5, Finance Director Putz is recommending approval of the 2020 Economic Development Fund budget.
Motion approved.
The motion is by Councillor Fennessy, the second by Councillor Olson. Is there discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. Motion carries.
11.1 is a resolution introduced by the Community Development Division to set a public hearing March 3rd, 2020 for the updated analysis of impediments to fair housing choice.
Second.
I believe the motion was by Councillor Elm to approve, the second by Councillor Fennessy. Is there discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. Motion carries.
11.2 is a resolution introduced by the Community Development Division to set public hearings March 3rd to request comments on community development needs and fair housing choice.
Second.
The motion is by Counselor Bender, the second by Counselor Fennessy. Is there discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Those opposed say no. Motion carries.
11.5, which is actually 11.3, we just had a typo there, is a resolution introduced by Counselor Olson providing an advisory referendum on the question establishing the position of city administrator.
The motion is by Counselor Olson, second by Counselor Sweeney. Counselors, we have several people here to speak from the public. So in a moment, I'm going to call up the first speaker, which is Miss Amanda Foster. I want to go over the rules at first. Public comment. Largely our sole rule for public comment, other than to maintain good order in these chambers, which will be enforced absolutely, and anybody that cannot maintain good order, I may ask to leave after some warnings. But otherwise, public speakers are limited to 3 minutes and 3 minutes only. If you've spoken at a council meeting before, you know that we enforce this very strictly. The council can override that rule and allow people more time, but that is their discretion alone. So that said, I will call forward Ms. Foster.
Mayor,
Counselor.
at this point in time, I would like to amend my motion to reflect changing the date of the advisory referendum from April 7, 2020 to November 3rd, 2020.
There's a motion to amend. Just a moment, Ms. Foster. Is there a second to the motion?
I'll second that.
Second is by Counselor Sweeney. Is there discussion on the motion to amend, or is there objection to me moving forward with public comment? I will move forward with public comment. Ms. Foster, please. And I'm sorry, members of the public, if you would please state your name and address. Most of you have written that down, but please state that for the record as well.
Good evening. My name is Amanda Foster, and I'm here, and I live at 80 Norwood Avenue in Superior. I'm here tonight to show my opposition to making the mayor part-time and instituting a city administrator. A part-time mayor will result in the city showing it is okay with unfair wages, more money spent on bureaucracy, and less representation of the people. The first issue I take with the referendum is the promotion of unfair compensation. In order for the next mayor to do their job correctly, you all will be asking them to work many unpaid hours. Everyone deserves full-time pay for full-time work. Support of this referendum shows that you don't think full-time work deserves full-time pay. My next issue is that the referendum is that there is an enormous cost for more bureaucracy. Making the mayor part-time will add an administrator position that will cost an estimated $120,000 to do a job that the mayor is already doing well. This administrator, by state law, will report to the mayor, so it's more than 2 times the cost we are currently paying for the same job to be done. The last point I have against the referendum is that the mayor is beholden to the people of our city. If the people don't like the job the mayor is doing, the people have the power to vote them out of office. With a city administrator, that power will largely be taken away. Our vote is to check on how the mayor does their job. Don't take that away from us. In conclusion, I am against the referendum to make the mayor part-time, and I stand with many of my neighbors to ask the council to vote no on the referendum. A vote for the referendum is a vote against fair wages, fiscal responsibility, and our system of representative democracy. I implore you to make the right choice.
Thank you. Ms. Dion Nelson.
Hi, my name is Dion Nelson. I live at 2315. My name is Dion Nelson, and I live at 2315 Banks Avenue. And I am here to support Mayor Payne. I moved here from the Twin Cities, and it was a hard move for me. But with him and talking to him and him having that open door opportunity, I just approached him, and he was so open to talk to me, you know, that I felt comfortable that I could adjust to the lifestyle that I would, you know, adjust to up here. But then when I heard about this administrative change for him. I was concerned about that because that meant that it would affect me. And I'm retired, and I work at the Senior Community Center. And I've seen him come through there and just engage a little bit with us, and even took time to speak with me or allow me to speak with him. So I feel that, you know, to move him away, even if I can just say being a minority in the community, that it would kind of like put me back in a place where I feel I would have to measure up again. And I don't want to measure up because I've done that all my life. But I'm here now, and I want to continue to be here, and I want to support Mayor in the changes that are going to come to this city. But I think that it's going to take me and us supporting him and believing in him, because I felt that he was a man of kindness and a man of compassion. He has an open door. And I felt that I could walk up and talk to him like somebody on the street, because me, I don't know strangers, so I don't have a problem talking to anybody. So I would just ask that we would just keep him in his post and in his position, because I think he's a very positive person. At least I find him to be a positive person. And they've given me hope that I can go back to school, I can make some accomplishments that I want to make even at the age of retirement. And I just, you know, I'm just here to support him and just tell him, good job, and I'm glad to be in your city.
Thank you. Mary Smith Johnson. Mary Smith Johnson, please.
Hi, I'm Mary Smith Johnson, 1303 East 3rd Street. I am in favor of a full-time mayor. A full-time mayor is the face of Superior to the rest of the state, is the face of Superior to prospective businesses, for tourism, for people looking for a home by the lake, and a representative for Superior for Lake Superior issues, federal, state, local. I just hope you stay with full-time mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Melanie Cockerham.
No, actually, I'll pass. Almost everything's been said that
Thank
I was going to say, so thank you.
Judith Hack.
Judith Hack, 3716 North 21st Street. I'm an opposite, and I have to say I agree with many of the things that I've already said, but I've got a little different lean to it. I'm in opposition of the resolution of the referendum on the part-time mayor and city administrator. I feel the decision was put on the ballot too quickly and hastily without a lack of planning. Historically, in 1927, the mayor was in charge of appointing city council and also school board. Because of his personal agenda, he made some bad decisions that ended up in a Supreme Court case, and from that changed the political stance of our city, where council people and city and also school board was elected. Again, that was a result of poor planning. In 1959, the city council currently was set up. At that time, up to that time, it was a managerial position, but in 1959, it became the chief executive as the mayor and city council as legislative. I'm in favor of this type of government because it gives it checks and balance, and it makes a leadership works a team. You haven't agreed, and he hasn't agreed, and we've been watching it all along. But this is not the only time. Prior to this, it was done before. And I think the leadership where you have a checks and balance allows you to work out things without doing your own personal agendas. The second thing, financially, I do not know how we can go from an $85,000 mayor and justify adding a $120,000 city administrator, and plus we'd have to pay a mayor. Is this the right use of the taxpayers' money? For me, this is something I'm opposed to. The third thing I'd like to bring up is the RK consultant management. The lead consultant was a professional municipal administrator, he said. And to me, that gave a little, I guess, weighted way because he almost always recommended city administrators. It indicated also in his paperwork that he was not labor-friendly. Why would a labor city choose to have leadership to an unfriendly labor? The city administrator, there's a lot of other things too. They don't have to.
30 seconds, please, ma'am.
Oh, okay, 30 seconds, okay. There's no term, currently, there's not job description. My recommendation is have human resources and develop descriptions of job. Look at the checks and balance, and there are too many variables to make this enormous decision which will have a political and a financial impact on the city.
Thank you. Rick Kanata?
Good evening. My name's Rick Kanata. Actually, I'm the mayor of Hibbing, Minnesota. My address is 2601 6th Avenue East. A few people talked to me, and I just wanted to come down to talk, just to clear the air a little bit about full-time, part-time mayors, full-time city administrator. I'm a part-time mayor. We have a full-time city administrator. You know, as a council and as a mayor, you're always full-time no matter what. But it works well in the city of Hibbing having a full-time city administrator. I don't get paid $85,000. But yes, a city administrator does cost a lot of money in the end, but it saves a lot of problems too, because he's the head of the city. Everybody will answer to him, but as a council and a mayor, we still have the choice to keep him or to terminate him when we want. So every year we have a evaluation that we'll take it up. Doesn't mean he gets more money every year, but checks and balances. So we do have checks and balances. We still all deal with the public, just like as a councilors, as mayors do. I consider myself a full-time mayor, but I'm part-time. But in the end, the complaints will come to us. We still answer them, but he's the face of the city. I've heard that, the mayor does this. Yes, we are. As a mayor, we are the face of the city, but so is the council. But when it comes down to the nitty-gritty business and the day in and day out of everything, with the city administrator, he's there to oversee everything. So there is checks and balances on having a full-time city administrator and a part-time mayor, because no matter what, you're elected to serve full-time, but you have someone in that position that is there day in and day out for the little problems and the big problems that come up for the city. So in the city of Hibbing, like I said, it's worked fine. I've been elected, I'm on my third term now, and we've had a full-time city administrator. So I just wanted to speak, so if there's any questions, or to ease some of the questions that people have about, is he going to be able, and I've heard some comments tonight about fair wages. My city administrator is one of the fairest guys around. So where it comes to wages for employees, he's in there doing the contract negotiations, as with me too, and with HR.
30 seconds, please, sir.
So I just wanted to let you know, if there's any questions, you can always call me. I'll talk to you. You can talk to my city administrator, So I think it's a good thing to have a city administrator. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. D. Fetters, please. D.
Good evening. I see we have a lot of people here tonight. It's good to see everyone turn out. My name is Dee Fetters. I live at 2729 East 3rd Street. I have a couple of questions, and if I'm incorrect in what I'm assuming about this referendum, I would like someone to correct me to make sure that I've got it straight. Now, I believe, did the mayor request this study initially, or was it something that was done with the council?
So I'm sorry, ma'am, we don't do question and answer with the public.
Oh,
We'll ask
okay.
you to,
Well,
please
the
speak
way
as
I
well.
understood it was that he did request it, and if he did, bravo, because I think he's looking out at all options for us. And I think that's a good thing. He wants to cover all bases to see what's good for our city. I think the council needs to remember that you work for us. And we put you in those seats. And we don't want an administrator to be able to tell us who pay taxes here what can be done for us. That's why we put you and the mayor in power. We want to have a say, and I think that's very important. Can we vote out the administrator? Can we get rid of him without paying a hefty amount of money? I don't think we can. I think it's going to be difficult. Whereas all of you and the mayor, we can vote you out. We don't like the job you're doing, you're gone. So I think we really have to think about this. I think it's a bad resolution. I think it's a bad resolution for the union. I think it's a bad resolution for us. And one thing, while I respect our council and our mayor, you have to remember, you work for us. Thank you.
Stefan Witherspoon, please.
Hello, I'm Stefan Witherspoon. I'm the president of the NAACP in Twin Forks, and I'm the chair of the Commission of Color in Superior. And I am highly opposed to this referendum. We're still behind in so many ways. There's nobody of color besides maybe one of that represents the rest of the community. We need more representation. We have not handled many situations correct in this city. I live in Billings Park. I've been on there for like 14 years off and on. I'm from Duluth. Mayor Penny is the only one who addressed the issues of vandalism, of racism in our schools. Mayor Penny is the only one who would go over to the MLK March and even bring up the topics of what really matters in our society. What are we doing? What are we doing? This is a travesty that we have to sit here and talk about a halftime position when we don't have enough people of color even in this room. This is so disheartening to me, and I'm from here. I'm born and raised here. And so I implore you, let's come together and get better representation, but also too, let's work together. And let's get people that best represent our community, indigenous, LGBTQ, African heritage. Times are changing, and it's inevitable. It is inevitable, and times will change. Are we going to change? And what legacy will you leave behind? I ask you that. What legacy will you leave behind? Thank you.
Dan Pearson, please.
Good evening, everyone. First thing, I wanted to introduce myself. My name is Dan Pearson, and I am the Master's Program Senator for the students at UWS, and also their Sustainability Liaison, residing at 2822 John Avenue. To be blunt here, all I can say is that the proposal to remove the power from Mayor Payne by reducing his employment status to part-time and replacing his power with a hired gun is one of the stupidest things I've heard in the city. For what this does is ruin the premise of the representation of the people through an election process, thus then taking the power of the people's vote away from them. With this, I ask you not to consider this thought of cutting the mayor's position to a part-time basis, and ask you to uphold the sanctity of democracy by supporting the mayor through keeping his or her position in the future full-time. Thank you.
Thank you. Megan McGarvey, please.
My name is Megan McGarvey. I was told that I would be able to just state the district rather than my actual address. Is that all right?
I'll accept that.
All right. My name is Megan McGarvey, and I live in the 6th District. I'm here to talk about 2 petitions, one paper and one online. The paper petition was only conducted in the 6th District. I spoke to my neighbors to hear how they felt about the idea of having a city administrator potentially take some of the duties of the mayor's duties. I was only able to door knock for about an hour and a half. Within that time, I collected 12 signatures and 12 conversations. The neighbors that I spoke with expressed that they didn't see the need for an admin. One of my neighbors mentioned how Superior had a city manager before and how that didn't suit the city. I do know that a city manager and a city administrator are different, but I'm just saying what he said. There was a dislike that an admin would potentially be appointed by the city council instead of being elected by like the mayor. There is also a lot of frustration regarding the divide in the city council itself. I spoke to my own counselor and discussed the divide in the council and how he was not satisfied with the RW Management Group's full audit of the city. I'm asking this body to stop and do their own research. Lay out what the city administrator's full duties, hours, and tax dollars that would be spent on this person right now. Use data collected by citizens that live here, not from a hired consulting firm based in southern Wisconsin who only interviewed some of the people working in city departments. Prove to us that you are thinking 20 years ahead, regardless of who the mayor is. I am a commercial producer at KBGR 6. I am not a journalist. When conducting an online petition with Amy Peterson, I received screenshots of comments made by Councilor Sutherland. I would like to note that my Facebook page was not private, and at that time, my job position was listed as Creative Services Producer at KBGR. However, the councilor wrote comments such as, "This petition is wrong, it's disgusting, and I see a producer at KBGR created this. I hope they are not biased when covering this." Comments like that make me assume that the councilor thought that I worked in the news department. However, instead of speaking to me or emailing to clarify this assumption, he messaged a woman that works in the building at my building asking if Megan McGarvey works for Channel 6. He also emailed a general manager in my building
30 seconds, please.
to complain about the petition. Then this led to me having to then have meetings with different departments to straighten this out. I would like to remind you all, I am not a journalist. I'm a private citizen who has the right to conduct a petition. If the counselor had a constructive criticism for the petition, he should have emailed. But instead, he decided to interfere with a private citizen at her job on a topic that does not concern or affect her job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Joe Stensland, please.
Thank you and good evening. My name is Joseph Stensland and I live in Councillor Dahlbeck's district in North End of Superior. And the first thing I would like to say, and I think what's most important is, just because our politics are different doesn't mean that I hate you, okay? And that's something every single one of us should be saying to one another tonight.
Mr. Stensland has the floor. Please do not interrupt him.
I think that there's one thing that we need to also admit too, is that when you do research, and I've been awarded several master's degrees in my pursuit of graduate education, when you do research, you admit your bias, and that is where you come from. So if the research was done in a consulting group who was previously a city administrator and he's been proven to recommend city administrator positions in his consulting recommendations, there could be a potential bias there. I encourage people to look for that and find out for themselves. I think the other thing that's most important too is we need to acknowledge and we need to look at what is our history of Superior as we've had previous things brought up here. We need to look at and say what's right for our culture of Superior. I understand that there are some people that are introducing this resolution because they want to follow up on further information and see what does the people say by offering a non-binding resolution. A non-binding referendum. As far as my opinion is concerned about that, I'm still learning a lot about the issue. But I do think that there needs to be a lot more discussion about that before we would even get to that phase. We need to remember that this is very, very important, and especially in a time where we are in a pro-administrative era and people are losing more and more of their right to say and do things. That it's important that we keep those checks and balances there appropriately as we figure out and debate this process. So it's very, very important that we remember these things, and by all means, that we keep things civil. Thank you.
Thank you. Jim Dalton, please.
Hello, I'm Jim Dalton. I live at 1211 North 11th Street. Been listening to this and trying to understand everything. But one thing I want to make sure is, like everybody else said, we can vote a mayor in or a councilor in, or we can vote them out the next time coming around. The mayor we have right now, the people wanted Jim Payne against his competition. It wasn't just, well, we're going to pick him out of a hat. So with the fire that we had, I thought the mayor or whoever it was, which was Jim, did an excellent job for the information he made. But the biggest thing no one's ever said, I think you're going to open up a Pandora's box here. When this goes through, if it did go through, you're going to get an administrator, which you probably, if you talk to the legal, they're probably going to use discrimination or some kind of thing. You're not going to get rid of them like you think you are if they're doing a bad job. They show up to work, you're not going to get rid of them. I've worked all my life. I've seen all kinds of politics in the workplace, and that's what you're going to have. A mayor needs to be the answer and the responsibility, just like a company, a CEO. Someone's got to come back. It's going to go on his shoulders. Now, you want to split that. Then next thing you know, well, this is working good. Maybe we'll cut the mayor's wages, and then he's going to be doing part-time. You cannot go down that road. I don't think, unless somebody shows different, I don't see an administrator. I think a city of Superior needs a mayor, just like we need councilors. Thank you.
Thank you. Garner Moffett.
Evening, I'm Garner Moffat. I live at 1508 East 6th Street. Excuse my computer here. I've been doing research all day. I had the luxury of some time off, and so I was able to read through things that were available. I'm guessing most of the people here didn't get a chance to read through a 185-page agenda this evening or the 32-page report. There's a lot of stuff to do. I'm sure as counselors, you guys put a lot of time into your job, and you go to a lot of meetings and a lot of events. One point I'd like to make is just imagine all the time that you put in and then try and add in all the extra stuff the mayor does and all the events they go to, the extra meetings with committee heads and everything they do to administer the city. Could you do that in 20 hours a week? I doubt it. There's some other issues with this that I found. First of all, there is a significant cost to the city for creating a new position. Would that cost be a burden or would it create a benefit? I'm not sure we know the answer to that yet. There's a lot of cities that have different systems. But what I can tell you is this report is kind of sloppy. They left out a lot of our financial systems. They didn't look at some of our largest departments where cuts could have more easily been made to save money. This proposal does reduce citizen input in the city, and so you can say it's pro-democratic to get this referendum out and ask people what they think, but really you're asking, would you like to decrease your democracy? So that's the way I look at it. And the mayor is here from Hibbing. It's great that somebody came to talk from another city, but he admitted that he works full-time and gets paid part-time. Do we want that? I don't think so. I think everyone who deserves full-time pay for full-time work. And I just wonder, the council has a process. This is being sent to an HR committee. It's a hiring possibility. They haven't had a chance to review it yet, and we're jumping the gun and we're putting it on a resolution for a referendum here when the committee hasn't had a chance to work. There are council member here that are being stepped on. They've got a process going, and it's not being used. We're not looking at all of our options. When you put something on the ballot and say, hey, do you want one thing or no? Well, what about our other options? We could hire a part-time administrator. We could hire a part-time mayor's assistant. We could have a full-time mayor and an administrator. There's a lot of different options that this could go, and we're not looking at all of those. We're giving citizens who have not had a chance to review all this information, we're going to give them one option and say yes or no. And I think it's wrong.
Thank you. Zeb Stevens, please.
Hi, Zeb Stevens. I live in Virginia, Minnesota. I'm considering moving to I will be moving to the Twin Ports within the next 12 months. I'm considering moving to Superior just because prices are cheaper as far as property goes. But why would I move to a city that doesn't even have a democracy? The city administrator things, we have to recognize this as an assault on democracy. That's straight up, plain and simple, what this is. I don't, I guess, have a whole lot to say about this, or I have a whole lot to say about this that would go beyond the scope of here. But it's like, this is being put to a referendum as a public choice sort of thing, and generally public choice is I want euphemism would be the right word, but it's against the public interest. The city needs to work in the public interest. Now, everybody who is a resident of the city, everyone has busy lives. I have a couple of kids. I've got a full-time job. I don't have the time to look through the 185 pages or those 32. Most people don't, so they depend upon the councilors and elected officials to do that for them. This is it pushes that off to an unelected, unaccountable position. I can't believe that ideas like this are even being floated in America. The ideology of city administrators have existed for long before this, but the big push of this is from James Buchanan's Virginia School of Economics. These people did not believe in democracy. They're oligarchs, and they believe in the marriage of government and business. And some of the comments I'd seen in the article, like, "Oh, make it government more professional." Well, government is very professional. It is not very businesslike. It should not be. There's a very specific term for governments that are married with business. My grandfather fought World War II in Germany against those sorts of governments. I would strongly consider anybody who would consider supporting this to examine what their personal beliefs regarding liberty and democracy is, and just examine what side of the line they want to stand on and what they believe in. I don't think many people would care to admit that they don't believe in democracy, so they try to sneak it through in ways like this. We're watching our democracy being eroded daily in this country. It's time for people to stand up and say, no, we're not going to take that. Thank you.
Thank you. Christine Olson, please.
Good evening. I'm Christine Olson. I live in Billings Park on Missouri Avenue with my family. I'm a full-time mother, so unfortunately I'm not able to meet every meeting. I think this is a really important one, though, and I am strongly opposed to a part-time mayor. Personally, I find it really strange that anyone would think that it would save money or it would help our community to take someone that pays so much attention to us and makes so much of an effort for communication. There are a lot of people that spoke here tonight that have done a lot of research and have spoken very passionately, intelligently, and I really hope that you are honestly listening to them. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Deb Szymborski.
Hi, Deb Szymborski, Billings Park. I'm here to state that I'm against having a city administrator. I do not think that it's going to add anything to our community. I personally don't understand why we are even entertaining this. I think we need checks and balances. I like having people voted in. If we have an administrator, we have no say-so. There are a lot of people already in city government positions that aren't for the community. They're looking for themselves. There's a lot of backhanded deals going on. Once they're in there, you can't get rid of them. I think, as an example, city planner, if you don't like what they're doing, you can't get them out. They have friends in the system. That's how they get their job, whether they're good at it or not. And if they're not good at it, you can't get rid of them. I believe in elections, and I think that's the way we should stay. It's better for our community. I think the mayor's doing a good job. I don't think an administrator would be out there meeting with the people like the mayor does. Thanks.
Thank you. We have nobody else signed up to speak on this issue. Would anybody else like to speak that has not signed up? Please come forward. If you'd like to speak, please form a line behind the podium. And as you haven't signed up, please say and spell your name and your address.
Hello, my name is Chris Gubelman. I'm here on behalf of the Carpenters, Local 361. The mayor supported us. I'm really here to observe tonight, and I've been observing and to support the mayor. And I'd also like to say that I respect the gentleman from Hibbing that came down, and I respect his courage for showing up. But everybody here spoke. I didn't hear another person except for him speak in support of this. You know, and if this happens, I think it's an embarrassment because I didn't hear anybody support it. So, except for, and again, I do respect him for coming down, but if this goes through, it's an embarrassment. And thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Amy Peterson. I'm from District 6 under Tyler Elm. I just kind of wanted to come up. I'm part of the petition that was created online on change.org. I just wanted to let you guys know, for the people who aren't here who signed it, we had about 203 people support in declining, of course, just saying vote no. Really, there's some strong opinions that were made about the petition. I just wanted to kind of put those out there. I still don't understand how it was still wrong. And I just hope that you guys vote no. That's really all I have to say about the petition, so thank you.
Is there anybody else that wishes to speak? Please come forward to the podium. No, I'm sorry, ma'am, you have to come forward to the podium. Or...
B. Peters, Superior, Wisconsin. I say use the money, fix the roads. Quit pissing around, arguing with each other. Oh, screwing around.
She has the floor.
Huh? I gotta get kicked off? Oh,
No,
okay, cool.
you have the floor.
Okay, hang on here. So if you're just gonna sit around and argue and piss and moan, quit your jobs and let him do his. That's it.
Is there anybody else that would like to speak? Okay, I'm going to turn this discussion over to the City Council. Councilors, I want to remind you of your own rules of debate. Please, tonight especially, use your mics when you are speaking, but also when you are voting. We'll be proceeding by roll call on the following questions. So please turn your mics on when you are called on to vote so that your vote is recorded on the video. In my time here, we have never enforced the rule that councilors may only speak 2 times and up to 10 minutes. Most of you don't take 10 minutes to speak. That is, however, city ordinance. I will be enforcing that. It requires a 2/3 vote of the city council to allow a councilor to speak more than twice or for longer than 10 minutes on each of those times. Please remember to only address the chair when you speak. Do not address each other. Do not ask or answer questions of each other. Please address only the chair. If you have questions, I will do my best to have them answered by either I will answer them myself or I will do my best to have somebody else answer them. And finally, their personal attacks are prohibited. Please keep your comments professional and direct. Passion and disagreement are, of course, welcome, but please respect your own rules. Councilor Olson, you have privilege. I would remind the council this question before you now is on the amendment to change the date of the proposed advisory referendum. Please keep your comments on this question to the proposal to amend. Councilor Olson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and through the chair. I normally don't do this, but I'm hoping to answer some of the questions and concerns that were brought up with a little bit of the research that I've done. So,
Councilor, that would be better on the main motion. You
Oh, I'm
will still have
sorry.
privilege on that motion. We are addressing the question to amend. Is there discussion on the question to amend the date of the advisory referendum? Would you like to speak to that, Councilor?
no, motion to approve.
We have a motion, a second. Is it, seeing no further discussion on the motion to amend, we will proceed by roll call on the motion.
So the motion is to...
Again, for the public, after the decision of this will merely amend or not the resolution. Then we will discuss the resolution itself.
So this will be changing the date from April to November 3rd, 2020, and I believe Counselor Elm is up first this time.
Mayor, may I ask a question first before we do that? Are you allowed to do that unless there's division, to ask for a roll call?
Anybody can request a roll call.
Okay.
Counselor Elm.
Yes.
Counselor Ludwig.
Yes.
Counselor Sutherland.
This is to amend it, right? Yes.
Counselor Kern.
Yes.
Counselor Dahlbeck. Counselor Olson.
Yes.
Counselor Van Sickle.
No.
Counselor Bender.
No.
Counselor Sweeney.
Yes.
Counselor Fennessy.
Yes.
That passes 8-2.
The motion carries. The main motion as amended. Counselor Olson has privilege.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and I'll start over again, but through the chair. In the next few minutes, I just want to present to you how I think that we got to this meeting tonight. And I appreciate everybody that's come here and expressed their opinions, their passion for what they believe in. From where I sit here, this is not about Mayor Jim Payne. I need to get that out first. So, over the last 12 years, we've done some very good things in this community that I know of under a full-time mayor and a chief executive officer were done in that manner. There have also been some times that we collectively may have missed the mark of excellence. I've served on this council and this community for close to 12 years, and I've done so under 3 mayors, being duly elected myself in April of 2008. Over that time, I had 2 opponents, and I've been fortunate enough to hold this seat to where I sit tonight. I want to give you a little timeline that may explain a few things, that the good things we've done and the others that may be missing the mark of excellence that I brought up. Back in 2006, November of 2006, under business by mayor on an agenda, the mayor at that time arbitrarily made a decision to demolish the Palace Theater. I'm not sure if anybody remembers that or not. Also, during that time, our Public Works Director and Administrator of Government Affairs helped the mayor get through that process, which was very unpopular with the public. The theater had a historic register to it, and it was just at that time a bad thing. In 2013, a wage study went through the committee level and was passed in 2014 to accept and restructure our staff and employees. Prior to a Carlson-Detman study, a handful of department heads were given new classifications in their job descriptions, allowing for exorbitant raises to their salaries. Roughly 7, if I believe, and roughly $48,000. Just an example. Again, acted upon arbitrarily. Most recently, we've had numerous retirements that were untimely and left some voids in areas that were most important to the viability of our city. That had nothing to do with administration. It just left us in a bad spot. Timing was terrible. Positions were looking to be replaced, and here we are today. Roughly 3 years ago, we went to a priority-based budget to change the way that we manage the budget. And at that time, good things came to our community by staying involved in Superior Days, obtaining a lucrative Enbridge terminal tax, and we created, most recently, a bunch of affordable housing, market rate housing in our community, which we badly needed. One project that was good and bad by a couple different mayors was a better city exposition, and originally it was headed up by a group of people from Ogden, Utah. And the project went this way, went back that way. So again, just examples. The 4 accomplishments in those jobs and many more came under the leadership of 3 different members. 3 different mayors. So we are here today, and I want to further share some dates that may explain my interest in this resolution, the purpose of this resolution, and the logic behind why I'm seeking the councilor support and approval to move this to an advisory referendum on November 3rd. October 15, 2018, Councilor Fennessy brought to the Human Resources Committee a conversation about staffing study. November 13, 2018, the issue was discussed again. December 17, 2018, Councilor Sweeney and Sutherland moved the recommendation to go with a staffing study and put out an RFP to seek a consulting firm. In May of 2019, the Finance Committee talked about the RW Group RFP and it was tabled. June 13th of 2019, Councilor Kern and Sutherland sent the RW proposal forward and chose at that time to exclude the police and fire departments in the reorganizational study. The study was awarded to RW at a cost of roughly $44,000. This was approved by us to use your tax dollars to proceed to go to a consulting firm to see if we had inefficiencies in our government and for a reorganizational study. The RW Group's task was to look for inefficiencies in our city and give alternatives to the way we do business today. One notable discovery was the way we were handling our finance department with the retirement of our finance director, and a suggestion from the study was to eliminate the assistant finance director. Off script, we have a finance director that was originally hired as an assistant, but is doing a fantastic job as the finance director. So kudos to you on that, Ashley. So we chose to hire an assistant and then promoted her to finance director and is doing a good job. I should have looked at my own notes. So that gets us to when we discussed this RW decision. On November 12th of 2019, there was a committee of the whole where RW Management Group presented us with that organizational staffing and study final report. In that study was a recommendation on page 9 of benefits of professional management under option 2. As such, based on the responses from those interviewed, and some of you mentioned that, some of the staff was interviewed, those interviewed and our experience, we recommend that the city hire a full-time administrator. Estimated costs were $100,000 plus $18,500 to conduct this search. So here we are today. And this is the proposal that I have put forward. I reached out to every single city councilor, one by one, told them what my plan was. There was a draft resolution put out to the agenda, and I reached out to them and told them if they wanted to talk to me about what I was proposing to get a hold of me singly, individually, and 3 councilors did so. So, this resolution, as we're looking at it today, is nothing more or less than asking the council's your permission through a vote of my peers to move forward with the resolution that I will read. I got that here somewhere. So this is what the actual resolution is. Some of you have seen it. Some of you have looked at it up online.
You have 2 minutes remaining, Councilor.
I would like to make a motion to extend my time.
The motion is to extend Councilor Olson's time. The second is by Councilor Sutherland. This is not debatable. All those in favor of extending Councilor Olson's time, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no.
No.
I need a roll call. The vote requires 7 votes.
Councilor Ludwig.
No.
Councilor
Please keep order in the chambers.
Councilor Sutherland.
Yes.
Councilor Kern.
Yes.
Councilor Dahlbeck.
No.
Councilor Olson.
Yes.
Councilor Van Sickle.
No.
Councilor Bender.
No.
Councilor Sweeney.
Yes.
Councilor Fennessy.
Yes.
Councilor Elm.
Yes.
6-4.
The motion fails. Counselor, you have 1 minute and 45 seconds left.
Okay, thank you. So, the resolution is nothing more or less than asking the council's permission through a vote of my peers to move forward with the resolution. If this passes, I will start work tomorrow to work with Human Resources to set up informational meetings regarding this. It appears that this is already in the works, as discussion has been that it's on an agenda or has been discussed in Human Resources. I would also ask RW management to seek information as to the pros of their recommendation and the cons of their recommendation. If a third-party administrator suits us better, I will ask Human Resources to broker that conversation. If this doesn't pass by the vote of the council tonight, we've done nothing more than propose a resolution similar to others in the community, and we as councilors have done our due diligence and have brought a pretty important issue to the table because your reaction says so. Thank you.
Thank you. Counselor Van Sickle.
Mayor Payne, are you saying I cannot address Director Konechny as the chair of HR?
Please address me. I'll forward questions to any department heads or anybody else.
Okay. Director Konechny, do you recall what RW identified as their most important number one priority in their recommendations?
Director Konechny, are you able to answer that?
My recollection is that they didn't have a number one priority. I thought that the listing of recommendations were in alphabetical order. That's the most I can answer to that.
That's okay. During the Committee of the Whole meeting in November, RW management specifically and with clarity identified that upgrading the software in the finance department was the most important recommendation that would have the single largest impact on their mission, efficiency. To Director Konechny, do we recall how many recommendations RW put forward?
Do you recall the number of recommendations or an approximation?
I am sorry, I didn't bring that report with me tonight to know. I thought there was, I'm assuming you know the number, I thought there was at least 30 some.
About 30 recommendations? Okay. On December 24th, the Superior Telegram reported the Human Resource Committee had just met and were discussing the results of the RW meeting. Director Konechny, were you at this meeting?
Counselor, because this is...
I'm just trying to get the facts on the table, that's
Sure.
all, Mayor Payne.
This is a regular council meeting, and so please address your questions to me.
I am asking you.
Okay. And if I can't answer them, I will forward them
Okay,
to
that's
Director
fine.
Konechny. What
I
was your
assumed
question?
the director of the HR committee was at the meeting. I read the article and I read the minutes, and the best I can tell is that this recommendation of having a part-time mayor or a full-time administrator was not brought up during the meeting as urgent. So I imagine she would be as surprised as I was when 6 days later I got a text message that this one single issue was going to be picked out specially. Now, there certainly have been vacancies in the city of Superior in 2019, but as Councilor Orson pointed out, we have recovered just fine. This resolution is not neutral, not by the author, not in its language, and not in its intent. It has a specific purpose. It's not some casual decision that we are sending out to the voters. We have a responsibility and a duty to vet out good decisions. And the best I understood is that it was in process when it was pulled out for a reason I cannot understand, nor has been thus explained. I do not think our community is misled. I do not think they're confused. I don't think they're uneducated. I think they... While I do appreciate, again, the mayor from Hibbing, I answer to the residents of Superior. And our community is telling us not to pull this out and not to give it special consideration. And they don't want it in April, and they don't want it in November, and they are asking us to not spend any more time, energy, or money on it. So I do hope that your representatives here heard you. If this is, in fact, about respecting the voice of Superior, or we will see if this is, in fact, about ignoring the voices of Superior. Thank you.
I will once again remind the audience that there is no applause allowed during the floor speeches. The council has the floor. Councillor Van Sickle. Councillor Van Sickle yields. Councillor Ludwig.
Yeah, I'd like to start off with our committee of the whole meeting on November 12th, where RW Management Group gave their presentation. After a lengthy discussion on the council floor, correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought we agreed the recommendation would be that I believe I counted, I know it was over 30. For some reason, my notes have 32 recommendations. But I believe, and I know that the minutes will reflect that we agreed that those 32 recommendations would be assigned to the appropriate committees for further review and discussion. As a matter of fact, the Human Resources Committee at its December meeting agreed to prioritize staffing recommendations made in the report and bring those recommendations back to our January meeting for further discussion and vetting. Correct me if I'm wrong, Human Resource Committee, but that's our agreement, right? But now, once Councilor Olson is upending that process by bringing forward a resolution to the council floor based solely on RW's recommendation and without further research and discussion. So we as a city did not make a rash decision based solely on one recommendation. And because there are too many questions not researched and answered, and because my constituents and the majority of the constituents out there who contacted me by phone and who talked at their doors advised me to vote no to the resolution, I'm now making a motion to table this resolution indefinitely.
The motion is to table indefinitely. Is there a second? The second comes from Councillor Van Sickle. Is there discussion on the motion to table? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. No. We have division. I will proceed by roll call.
Councillor Sutherland.
Could you clarify what? Yes.
The motion is to table indefinitely.
To table it indefinitely?
Yes.
No.
Councillor Kern.
No.
Councillor Dahlbeck.
Yes.
Councillor Olson.
No.
Councillor Van Sickle. Yes. Councillor Bender.
Yes.
Councillor Sweeney.
No.
Councillor Fennessy.
No.
Councillor Elm.
No.
Councillor Ludwig.
Yes.
The motion fails. Councillor Ludwig, you still have the floor. Thank you. Further discussion. Councillor Bender.
Yes, well, first of all, mine won't be 10 minutes. And I've heard from lots of people by telephone and also in person recently. And each and every one of them have said the exact same thing, vote no. And I thank Councillor Olson for bringing up the history about the Palace Theater. In fact, it was the demolishing of the Palace Theater that got me to run for City Council in 2008. And also thank you for bringing up about the Carlson-Detman study and also what that did as far as salaries, and also reminding us about our priority-based budgeting, and also the amount of money that we spent for the consulting firm of RW. So that's all that I have to say is that I'm voting no.
Thank you. Further discussion. Councillor Sutherland.
First off, I'd like to thank everyone for coming here, honestly, taking time out of your day to do this, or evening, and it's a subject that's catching a lot of attention, and that's awesome, right? But just a little history on this, and I think Councillor Olson nailed it, that This has been brought up in committee 5, 6 different times. We've talked about this study. And then the council approved of the exact study, the RFP that went out. Mayor Payne, may I ask you a question here? If I can address you, correct?
Yes.
What kind of, how is the city structured? Can you answer that one for me?
I don't know if I fully understand your question, but we are formed under Mayor Aldermanic form of government, Chapter 62.
Okay, that's exactly what I was kind of looking for here. In the RFP that we put out for business, for companies like the report that we got back, I'm going to read this verbatim here. The City of Superior is requesting proposals from qualified firms interested in conducting and operating an organizational assessment of full-time equivalent positions. This assessment will include identifying current and future staffing needs, which we have done, so we've requested that, correct? Operational efficiencies, which we got we received in the study, how we can be more efficient, okay? Organizational structure. That's what we asked this company to do for us, is give us an evaluation on the structure of our organization. For a point of inquiry, it's under the agenda in the Human Resource Committee in March of 2019. Organizational structure, I can't stress that enough, and that's exactly what we got. And it's clear that we don't like what we got, and I respect that. I respect opinions on both sides. We asked for that. We paid $45,000. What good is it for us to get that study and sweep a $45,000 survey or study under the rug? I believe that what we paid for is what we got. And that being said, I would like to thank everyone for coming here, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Further discussion. Councilor Fennessy.
We've heard both sides of the debate tonight, and thank everyone for sharing that, your side of the debate. But we've heard both sides of the debate concerning the move to a city administrator form of government. But this specific debate is premature. Tonight, we are not voting on changing the style of our government. We are simply voting to either allow the residents of Superior the opportunity to weigh in on the issue, or if the matter should be decided by us 10 councilors without input from the people. A yes vote tonight is to allow every single voter the opportunity to tell us what style of government they want. A no vote tonight means the decision should be left up to us councilors whose positions won't be affected. The broader proposal requests a significant change, and I believe that anytime we have a significant change of this magnitude to consider, we owe our respective constituents the opportunity to hear each and every one of them in the form of a non-binding referendum. The residents of Superior vote for the mayor of their choosing. We should give those same voters the ability to decide if they want the mayor they choose to continue to serve in a full-time capacity. I will be voting yes tonight to allow the people to be heard, and my support for a non-binding referendum should not be interpreted as support for moving to a city administrator form of government. I value the position of a full-time mayor, which I clearly demonstrated 3 years ago when I ran for that full-time position. But I don't want to make that decision on behalf of the people in either direction without their consent. Thank you.
Further discussion. Councilor Sutherland.
Oh, it's off now. Apologize. No, it was.
Councilor Van Sickle.
Well, I guess our minds are all made up. I'm not discouraging people vote in April. I hope they show up in record numbers. But when your elected officials dismiss you, it is time to be mad. But because this has already been decided, on your behalf, I at least am looking forward to unequivocally seeing who does in fact support part-time mayor.
Further discussion. Councilor Sweeney.
Let me just take somebody through this process who may not know. We sent out a number of bids for this very information we were seeking. There were 3 or 4, I don't know how many bids we got. We had a committee of 3. I believe the mayor, human resource director, and the head of the chair of human resources. They interviewed how many there were, and they picked this company. Okay? We paid them for it. I was somewhat critical of some things that they didn't put in the report, but it was a bird's eye view of where we're going. Like a couple of councilmen suggested, we asked for the report. We paid for it, and now we don't like it. That doesn't mean we have to act on it. We got the report. We're going to vet it. We're going to spend time on it through the Human Resource Committee, other people, and rest assured, when the time comes to vote, we will have vetted it, and we will have taken everything into consideration, and we will make the best vote, each of us, the 3 of us, and then if it goes to the city council, for the city of Superior. That's what we're about. I don't think there's one council person here that is going to vote either way on anything against the city of Superior. We are here to represent the city, and we do it in the best way we can, but we must be fact-based. We must be fact-based. We must look at it. It's going to take time. And at the end of the day, we don't know. I don't know what's going to come out, and I don't think anyone else does. But we will vet it, and we will do our job, and we will come to what we believe to be a good decision. Thank you.
Councilor Olson.
I guess just for the council here, just the fact that this won't be a final approval with the referendum, and there won't just be one option. I think what people need to understand is with the advisory referendum, it'll go to the public. If this passes tonight, it'll get voted on. The results of that referendum have to come back to this council for more vetting, for approval or non-approval. So this doesn't stop with point 1 being a resolution this evening, point 2 being a referendum, advisory referendum in November. And I was asked at the 11th hour today if I would be okay to move this to November so that we had more time to vet it and to work with the human resources or anybody else that we need to do to make sure that we're doing this right. You guys all know that I'm not running for re-election and I'm not going to be here. I'll give you my word that if I'm allowed to, I will sit on an advisory committee with you to work this through because I'm the one that basically has started it. But I don't think it's a bad thing. I don't think we are handcuffing anyone. I think what we asked for was a study. We got the study. Again, I'll reiterate what other people have said. We didn't like the results, right? But there are 32 recommendations in this study. And I don't think 10 of us here would agree on all 32 of these things.
Further discussion? Seeing none, we will proceed by roll call.
Mayor Payne, I have a legal issue with the resolution. May I ask the city attorney a question?
No, I'm sorry. The council debate is reserved to the council, and we're moving the question.
Council members, would you recognize me to ask a question?
No, that would be out of order. The council has the floor, and we are moving forward with the question.
So the motion on the floor is to hold the direct to call advisory referendum to be held on November 3rd, 2020. And we are starting with Councilor Kern.
Yes.
Councilor Dahlbeck.
I vote no because I want leadership, not dictatorship.
Councilor Olson.
Yes.
Counselor Van Sickle.
No.
Counselor Bender.
No.
Counselor Sweeney.
Yes.
Counselor Fennessy.
Yes.
Counselor Elm.
Yes.
Counselor Ludwig.
No.
Counselor Sutherland.
Yes.
That motion passes 6-4.
The motion carries.
Okay, item 12.1 is an ordinance introduced by the Public Works Department amending the traffic code, disabled parking zones by removing 1508 Broadway Street.
The motion is by Counselor Fennessy, the second by Counselor Dahlbeck. Is there discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Those opposed say no. Motion carries.
Item 12.2 is an ordinance introduced by Mayor Payne regarding Section 2, Article 7, Public Works Projects, and recreating that article responsible contractor criteria. And there was one person.
Yeah. The motion is by Counselor Olson, second by Counselor Elm. We have some public comment. Kyle Bukovic.
Kyle Bukovic, president of the Northern Wisconsin Building Trades. Over the last few months, the Northern Wisconsin Building Trades has worked with city officials to provide additional criteria to strengthen the current RBO. The proposed responsible contractors ordinance is that outcome. The reason for changing bidders to contractors is to ensure all contractors working on a public works project will have to follow the ordinance. The RCO will further ensure that public works projects are awarded to contractors that meet the minimum requirements of local, state, and federal laws and provide greater taxpayer value. The RCO provides greater assurance that the public body is working with contractors committed to skill development and training, competitive wages and fringe benefits, and a safe workplace. The result is a highly trained workforce committed to producing the highest quality construction available. The RCO will help the City of Superior hire contractors who are up to date on basic compliance standards, such as having proper business registration, history of labor and safety laws, proof of having relevant insurance coverage, and apprenticeship and training participation. I would like to thank Mayor Payne, Attorney Perrell, and the other city officials we met with to come up with the RCO. The members of the Northern Wisconsin Building Construction Trade Council are asking for the council's support for the proposed RCO. Thank you.
Thank you. Discussion by the council. Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. Motion carries. We have no further business and are adjourned. Thank you, councilors.